And joining us now is new and once again pitching coach for the Texas Rangers. Mike Maddux is joining us. Mike, hey, man, thanks for coming in here.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It's good to be here. We love Fort Worth.
Sorry about the traffic.
Ooh, yeah, that's something we live with. You know, when we opt to live here, we know that other people like to live in here, too.
Yeah.
You know, I'll ask my real dumb media question first just to get it out of the way. Right. Is your rotation better with Jacob deGrom or without Jacob deGrom?
It's kind of a dumb question. Yeah, you get you a true number one in any type of pitching rotation you're in a good spot. No, Jacob gives us that, man. He's a true number one.
Yeah, you were in the National League for, ever since you left the Rangers.
Yeah.
So you saw a lot of them.
A lot of number ones or a lot of pitchers?
A lot of Jacob deGrom.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately.
Why is he so good?
Well, number one, he executes his fastball. He pitches with his fastball. He's got quite a fastball. I mean, things got hop, it's got velo, and he puts it in a good spot pretty much. Little slider behind it, you throw 100 miles an hour, those upper, plus fastballs. Guys got to cheat. You got to get that bat going. Next thing you know, you throw something that starts in the same spot. They pull the trigger pretty regular. That's why strikeouts are so high, walks are low, because everybody's on a hair trigger to catch up to 100.
So the thing with him that worries a lot of people is his health. He hasn't hit top to 100 innings since 2019. Do you have to manage that, or is he just a different breed?
It's something we got to learn with him.
Yeah.
The medical team's got to learn him. The performance guys got to learn him. I got to learn him. Boat's got to learn him. Mm-hmm. So I think the more we're around one another and the more we keep that conversation back and forth, stay, heavy communication, how you feeling, how you doing, and monitor what we do in spring training as far as residual throwing. You throw yesterday, we got a team fundamental today, and we're throwing the bases. Well, if you threw yesterday, chances are you just kind of watch.
Yeah.
Try to be smart with it, and, we'll do that with everybody, not just Jacob, but everybody.
Right.
So it's kind of how he handles the workload. He talked to him the other day. He finished the season strong, said he felt great, and that's good news, and one reason we got him.
The rest of the rotation, I guess, do you always follow your guys? Like Martin Perez was your guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he made his debut with the Rangers. You were his first pitching coach. Have you monitored what he's done over the years, and then what did you think of his season last year?
I always keep my eye out for guys that I know, guys that I love, and guys that I've had. And Martin was I remember it was January of 2009, first time I saw him throw. And we had this mini camp in January, and he hops on the bump at the old ballpark in Arlington and starts throwing. And I just said, man, I could watch this guy throw all day. He's that smooth, kind of velvety delivery, smooth release, arm works well. Now tell me about this kid. He goes, oh, he's 19. I go, 19? Damn. I mean, he's pretty darn consistent for a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
With that came the immaturity of a 19-year-old, or should I say the lack of experience. Mm-hmm. And now when I just have watched him grow through the years, he's become more and more confident that he is a major league pitcher. And what he did last year, everything kind of came together, and a little chip on his shoulder from what happened in his time in Boston where he was taken out of the rotation. So I think he used 2022 as I'm the real deal. And he got back where he was comfortable in Texas.
Yeah.
And pitched great, man. 196 innings or something crazy.
Yeah, 196 and a third. The crazy thing is, I think that was like fifth in the league. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that Chris Young and Bruce Bochy want to change, where Rangers pitchers maybe go an extra inning. Maybe, I don't want to say you push them, but it seems like that is something that's going away from the game that Chris and you and Bruce believe in, getting guys into the sixth and seventh inning.
You got to set the bar high, man. If you want to get wins, and I think wins are important. Some people say they don't matter. I say, well, really? Okay, so if we end the season 60 and 102, well, I guess I didn't think wins mattered. Oh, no, they matter. Yeah. They matter. And as a starting pitcher, wins matter. And sometimes, especially at home, you go out there and you throw 5 innings. Well, the other team gets 6 at bats, or you get they get 5 at bats to year 4. If you throw 6 innings, they got 6 at bats to year 5.
Yeah.
So if you want to get the win, sometimes it takes 7 at-bats for your team to get the win. So if I got to go an extra inning to get a win or 2 extra innings to get a win, a lot of times that's where you get your wins is in the 7th and 8th inning.
Yeah.
So if you want to get the win, you better hang out, man. And that whole quality start thing, 6 innings, 3 runs. Last time I checked it out, that was a 4.5 ERA. Well, I think good games are thrown in the 7th inning, 8th inning, and 9th inning. And that's where we got to push them to.
I guess I've asked you about this a little bit, but analytics are kind of dictating a lot of that. How, you can't go a third time through the order because this, and this happens. I know what the numbers say, but there's got to be a lot of gut there, or as Wash would say, trust the gut.
You got to.
Yeah.
You look back at that third time through, and you mention analytically. I don't think that Bob Gibson or Sandy Koufax or Nolan Ryan knew the word analytically.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you look back in the record books, it's nothing new. It has been going on for 100 years, 100-plus years, that third time through has always been kind of a hump for the starting pitcher.
Yeah.
It's nothing new. It's just now it's like this big focus, But, back then people, 1, 2, 3 in the first, and you face, 10 guys through 3, and then it might take you 15 times the second time through, and it might take you 15 times the third time through. But that's the way the game has always been. It's nothing new. It's just now people say, oh, we got to do something different. Well, you can, but I think you kind of wear your bullpen out.
Yeah.
And, you're only as good as your bullpen.
Yep.
Through the course of a season, you are only as good as your bullpen. But your bullpen is only as good as rotation. So they kind of one hand wipes the other, so they got to work together.
Yeah. I know that, there's now the eighth man in the bullpen with the 26-man roster and the limits on 13 pitchers, but you'll still run through 8 if you can't get deeper into games. And I think teams run into that all the time.
There's no doubt about it. We're going to start, like every team now, it's like 13 pitchers, all right, with that extra man. And if you think you're going to start the season with those 13 and end the season with the same 13, man, you're in a really good spot if that happens. Right. You're in a really good spot. It's going to take you 20 guys, to get through a season. So you got to have depth in the organization. You got to have some starter depth because if somebody needs to skip a start or somebody's got a, twist an ankle, something like that, and they got to miss one, well, with the 15-day disabled list backward or injured list, the IL.
The IL, yeah.
Yeah, the IL. Well, you got to have somebody who can fill the shoes for a start or two.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the depth comes into play. And, you better count on having 20 guys that can help you win.
Have you dived into the Rangers farm system, that depth? Have you looked deep in it?
I am doing that as we speak. I'm going in to the ballpark this week and try to look at a couple guys a day and get in depth and see, just where I can get a plan for when I meet with them about this is what I saw. I want to sit down with you and let's go over this. But I'm doing, a couple at a time. I've brushed about 6 guys now.
Okay. Anybody you like who stands out? Yeah. Of
Well,
those 6?
we got this one guy, Jacob deGrom. I looked at him yesterday. I kind of like him.
Who?
Like him a lot. I did see this young fella, Brock
Burke?
Yeah.
Brock Burke.
Yeah.
I kind of like what he's bringing to the table. Left-hander with a little bit of got a hopping fastball and nice little come-at-you attitude.
Yeah.
He kind of jumped out at me. I met Taylor Hearn. He's big some gun, cowboy at that. So right away, my heart's off for Taylor Hearn. And, I looked at him and chatted with him, talked about a couple things. So, I'm going to do this with everybody. And the longer, I'm right at the beginning of it right now. And with the weather being so good, you got to go play afternoon golf, right?
Sure.
Right.
You can't miss that.
So that kind of cuts into some of that scouting time.
How often are you playing?
Man, if it's 70 in the afternoon, I'm playing. So, I'll play 5-6 days a week.
And well, you're a pretty busy guy. You've got stuff you got to do. Mm-hmm. So, are you okay just going out and playing 9?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if just play till dark. If you're gonna go out, practice till dark or do something. It gets dark early, 5:30. So, if I'm at the ballpark until 1, I got to scamper out there, and leaves me about 3 hours of daylight and get her done.
All right.
Are you a scratch golfer?
Man, used to be.
Used to be?
Yeah, used to be. It's kind of funny how used to be's don't count anymore, as Neil Diamond said, But I used to hit the ball a lot longer. Now I get frustrated. I don't hit it as long. And still trying to use the same club and ended up coming up short in the water and make your double bogey. But I get it around the course okay.
I don't think you make a lot of doubles.
Try not to.
Yeah. Got to keep those big numbers off the card.
You bet.
But you get to do it at home now.
Yeah, that was a big thing. Sleeping in my own bed is big. Get to walk my dogs each day, and my daughters live here. One in Fort Worth, one in Dallas. I get to spend more time with them, or see them, or at least being able to see them.
Yeah.
Where when you're on the road for 8 months out of the year, well, that kind of took its toll over the last couple of years, especially. Kind of hit a certain age where you like being home and you like some normalcy. And I think that this opportunity really fits me well.
What I know that as things go, Chris Young had to ask the Cardinals' permission. Mm-hmm. How quickly did it come together once that took place?
Oh, in my mind, it didn't take long.
Yeah.
In CY's mind, I don't know how long it took him. It didn't seem it took long, but we got protocols and things in this game, and there's still teams out there right now that have coaching vacancies. So I think with this moving the winter meetings up, moving the Rule 5 draft up, moving up, just seemed like there's a lot of stuff happens right after the World Series. And
yeah.
Kind of condensed it where I think, in this game, players are first generally. You take care of the players and you try to get in there and fill out your coaching staff.
What since you left the Rangers, or you worked with Max Scherzer,
mm-hmm.
You've worked with Adam Wainwright,
yeah,
you've worked with some pretty good guys. Who are your favorite guys? Even with the Rangers, if you want to do that, favorite guys you've worked with.
Favorite guys I've worked with. Colby Lewis.
Oh yeah.
How about Colby?
We had him in studio.
In that very chair.
Yeah, he's a good man. He's a good man. I can't fit. I don't feel this chair like Colby does.
Holy
man.
crap!
Holy cow, that's a big boy.
Colby, he's one of my favorites. Actually, just a couple weeks ago, I went and spent the weekend with Ben Sheets.
Oh yeah.
I had him.
Sure.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
So he was always one of my favorites. David Bush, who's the pitching coach for the Boston Red Sox, he's one of my favorites. Of course, my time in Washington, Max was just a beauty. Talked to Max the other night, and, we had a long conversation. So,
mm-hmm.
Adam Wainwright, Pro's Pro, just so many. And it's unfair to the guys I don't mention because they all mean something. It's easy to pick the guys that won the Cy Youngs and stuff like that because everybody knows who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But if I were to mention some of the other guys that you just really got a hoot out of, a Joe Nathan.
Sure.
I loved Joe's personality and our relationship together. And John Lester had him a short time.
Right.
What a peach. He was a guy from across the field. You despised him. You said, man, what a
SOB, that guy.
Yeah, we didn't care for him. You're like, man, quit your bitching and throw the ball. Quit bitching and start pitching. Let's go and throw it over the plate and we'll light your ass up. But we didn't.
Yeah.
And then here we get him for a short time after the trade deadline in 21. And here was a guy that just went out there on straight blood and guts and competed his tail off with not the stuff that he had at one point, but just the kind of guy just after you get to know him, he's just another Colby Lewis, just a quiet guy who goes out there and grinds his tails off.
Compare Scherzer and DeGrom. Since they were teammates last year.
Well, it's unfair for me to try to pass judgment on Jacob because I don't quite know him. I've been in Maxie's foxhole for a couple years, got a couple Cy Youngs, and the big competition for the Cy Young was Jacob.
Yeah.
He was putting up ballistic numbers, Max was putting up good numbers. Jacob was right there with it. Maxie was getting wins where Jacob wasn't.
Right.
And that's where they were saying that wins don't matter. And well, try telling that to Max or tell that to Jacob. Wins don't matter. I disagree. I think everybody has to honor the wins because you're logging the innings to get them.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think the first DeGrom Cy Young, he won like 12 games.
Yeah.
Which tells you, what the other stuff was.
I thought it was very, very. I didn't like it this year that the kid in Atlanta, Kyle Wright, had 21 wins, and like got no love.
Yeah, sure.
Got no love.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, well, what's wrong with him? And they go, oh, wins don't matter. I go, they don't matter. They don't matter. He's the only guy that won 20 games. What do you mean they don't matter?
Sure.
He's got to get some love for that.
You'd think. All right, John.
The fun part?
Yeah, we're done. Well,
all right. We're going to get in. Now we're going to start talking about. So you're from Las Vegas, for those that don't know.
Yeah.
You grew up in Las Vegas. You went to Rancho High School. Did you play any other sports when you were growing up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we played them all.
In high school, too?
Well, that's a whole nother story. I mean, a little bit in high school.
Football, basketball?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But
we were a military kid growing up. All right. Okay. So we lived here, there, and everywhere. And in the growing years, I say the growing years, 11 to 15, we lived in Spain. And living in Spain was like living in a very, very small town, Texas. I mean, we lived in the base community, and, we had everybody wanted to play sports. So like in football, we had weight limits. Those 125 was the cutoff.
Right.
So you had up to 125 and then from 126 to 150. And then if you was over 150, you went and played, like for the high school. By that time, you was probably in high school if you weighed over 150.
Right.
So, I played football. I weighed about 123 pounds and freaking loved it, man. It was great. And then
what'd you play? Were you a quarterback? Were you,
Oh, heck no. I didn't know the rules.
You just tackled people.
Yeah, well, I got tackled and stuff like that, but I enjoyed it. Then it was, we played up to 150 pounds, and it was fun.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Vegas.
Yeah.
There wasn't no weight limit.
Oh, yeah.
And I put on them pads, and some guy 200 pounds hit me. I quit.
Yeah.
I quit. I said, that's not fun.
Yeah.
That hurt. That hurt.
I'll let people try to hit my fastball is what I'll try to get them.
And we played basketball over in Spain. Played basketball.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I could ball it. Yeah, I was good. And
now, when did you pick up golf? Was that after you became a pro baseball player? Is that when you picked it up? Or you didn't play that in high school or anything?
No.
There's too many other sports going on.
We played basketball, and, you could get a running start and, go and just hit that perfect little springboard in the gym and get up and touch that little curly thing that holds the net. I thought that was pretty cool, man. I had some hops. And then when we went to Vegas, they were slam dunking. And I'm like,
I'm off
these
of this.
guys are good, man. These guys are good.
Yeah, but you mentioned the military family. You're born in Ohio.
Yeah.
Greg was born in San Angelo.
San Angelo, yeah.
So, TR, another military guy. I'm sure you've talked about it, but that's a different.
It's a different
upbringing.
lifestyle.
Oh yeah, yeah. We lived in Riverside, and Minot, North Dakota.
Oh my
Taiwan.
gosh.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, everywhere.
You ended up going to UTEP.
Sure did.
University of Texas El Paso.
Miners.
Do you have any other schools? Do they even play baseball anymore there?
No, they got Title IX out. I think around 86 or 7.
I was about to say I don't think they play there anymore. Did you any other schools you considered? Did you have any other offers besides UTEP?
I had some junior college offers. I got hurt my senior year.
Oh, in high school.
In high school, so I pitched about 6-8 games maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
UTEP was it though, so you end up going there. Okay, now this is one of my fun things I love to ask somebody. You were drafted twice. Right. So you were drafted out of high school in 36th round, 1979. 1982, the Phillies took you in the 5th round out of UTEP.
Right.
It's not like today. They go to New York today and they do all of that stuff. How did you find out each time? How did you find out you'd been drafted?
The phone rang.
That was it? Landline
too, baby.
Well, I grew up on landlines. Yeah. I'm closer to you than he is. He's a youngster here. But so you're 1979, you're in high school. Were you at school? Where were you at? I guess it was during the summer,
in
right?
79, yeah. In June.
Right.
Yeah, I was at home.
At home, and did the Reds actually call you?
Yes.
You answered?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know who answered, but yeah, we were waiting on it, hoping it would ring.
You knew it was probably coming, or you'd had some scouts out there. So
yes, yeah.
And so, what about in the fifth round for the Phillies? Same thing. Were at the house? Where were you at?
Yes.
Well, you were at UTEP. So
I was at the house because once again it was in June.
It was in June.
So our schedule was over. We weren't going to the World Series, so we were done playing in May.
Right.
So actually went home and hung out with my folks and sat around and waited on the phone to ring, and thank God it did.
Where was the first place you played?
Bend, Oregon.
Bend, Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got in the car and drove up there, or what'd you do? Did you have to report somewhere first?
Flew up to Redmond, Oregon, and marveled at all the guys wearing red shirts. And I go, what's this thing? And they go, it's a community called the Rajneeshis or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this is a big day for you. June 3rd, 1986. This is when you make your Major League debut against the Los Angeles Dodgers. This is another fun one. How'd you find out you were going to the big leagues?
Well, the AAA manager at that time, Bill Dancy is his name, called me up and said, hey, man, were you out late last night? Good chance.
Yeah.
Was I out after curfew? We don't check curfew. I didn't think so. Otherwise, you wouldn't ask that question. And he said, no, you're going to the big leagues. I said, great. So, all the hard work you put in and, the things you pray for, things you hope for. And, man, here it goes. It's kind of cool, man. It's kind of cool.
And you ended up, how many years in the big leagues? 13, 12?
I had 15 seasons.
15 seasons in the big leagues. Good Lord. I mean, look, I think if you pitch one day in the big leagues, you've outdone 95% of us who ever wanted to do anything.
99%,
that ever wanted to play the game. 15 years in the big leagues. That's awesome. You get into coaching. You have a little brother who comes up who does okay. I got to ask a little bit. I'm a big brother. You're a big brother. Were y'all the only two? You have any sisters, brothers, others?
I have a sister.
Are you the oldest?
She is.
She is the oldest. Okay.
Yeah. I'm better than she is.
Now, did you pick on Greg? What are y'all, about 5 years apart?
Yes, we are.
Did you pick on him?
You bet.
You did? Did you ever do the fart on his head or anything? That's what I did. I mean,
absolutely.
Well,
I mean,
still do.
In the Greg's Hall of Fame speech, he talked about how you taught him how to light farts.
Yeah.
Well, we tried to learn together.
Yeah. I've done it too. I'm a big brother, and I tormented my little. You know what though, and this is true. When you're a big brother, I played sports. I wasn't near the athlete to do anything. My brother was a better athlete because we just picked the hell out of him, and he tried to keep up with me and my buddies.
Tough.
By the time he got up there was nothing. Man, we tore him up. We would knock him down and hit on him, and he'd try to come throw ball. He was a better athlete than I was. I'm not saying Greg was better, but Greg had a great career, a Hall of Fame career, and did it without throwing 95 miles an hour.
Yeah, he is a better athlete. I'm not no shame in that, man.
Yeah,
better baseball
he played 15
player.
years in the big leagues.
Yeah.
I know he did too, and he had a Hall of Fame career. But my God, it's usually the little brothers come up because big brother has a big hand in that because usually they just knock the shit out of him growing up.
There's a time where as a big brother, little brother comes with you,
right,
and you bring him. So actually, you pull him,
right.
You pull him to play with us, man. There's a big difference when you're 15 and 10,
right.
All right. Not so much when you're 25 and 20.
Sure,
or 35
absolutely.
and 30, but when you're 15 and 10, what a gap.
Yeah.
And so he would come up and play with all of our, all my friends, and then we'd go out to the ball field. We'd take our bats and our gloves, and we're going to have a pickup game. And I'd be the captain, and my first pick would be little brother. Why are you taking him? I go, he's the best player out here. Better than any of them. He's 10 years old, and he's better than we are.
Are y'all still competitive? I mean, you get together for holidays and stuff. Do y'all still all get together and you board games, golf? I know he plays golf.
Yeah, we golf.
And try to kick each other's ass in golf and just I imagine you guys jaw at each other like crazy.
No, we root for one another. We tend to team up and take on other folks.
Oh, God, that's not fair. Because he's a good golfer, too, isn't
he? He is, yeah.
But you're better.
On a given day, yeah.
All right, let's talk about food. What's your favorite kind of food you love to eat?
Oh, I know.
Man, I like Mexican.
Here in Texas, it's good.
Oh, my. Oh, yeah. There was a time in El Paso, actually Vegas, we had a lot of Hispanic restaurants or Mexican restaurants. But,
were they Tex-Mex like this stuff here, or was it better here?
It was a little more chain-oriented back then,
Right.
Nowadays, I think restauranteering has become a little more target-oriented with a theme.
Right.
And I love the Tex-Mex. I really like the Sonoran Mexican food.
Sure.
And I like the Baja.
Yeah.
So, It's all. Hey, if it's got chips and salsa to start with, you're all right with me.
Hot though. It's gotta be hot.
It's got to be hot. Got to be hot.
Yes,
This
it does.
guy,
I love spice
this guy
too.
wants the hot.
Now,
Yeah.
do you do any sort of fast food? Are you a fast food guy?
Not really.
Not really. If you have to, is there one, like the big debate is, you grew up in Vegas. Did they have In-N-Out out
Oh,
there
yeah.
compared to Whataburger?
Well, we eventually got one. Yeah, eventually got one, and that was probably in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I do like some In-N-Out. I do like.
What about
that.
Whataburger? Are you a Whataburger
I
fan?
love Whataburger.
But you can't. Do you choose between one of them?
Which one's closer? I live up in Keller, and we got a Whataburger just down the street from me. But on the way home in Grapevine, we got the In-N-Out.
Yeah.
So I would say this, like In-N-Out, probably eat it there.
Right.
If you're going to bring something home, I think Whataburger
Yeah.
lasts a little longer.
Well, I'm a diehard Texan, and so everybody thinks, well, you got to have Whataburger over In-N-Out. And I say all the time, I said, look, I love Whataburger, but In-N-Out's a good burger.
Oh, yeah.
It is a good burger. I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, you're both either one. Okay, favorite.
Jeffrey likes them all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no kidding.
I do.
Look at me. I'm the one that looks like I don't miss a meal.
Well, now, one thing about Mike,
Jeffrey's half the man he used to be.
he comes up with nicknames for all of his guys.
Right.
Like and he came up with nicknames for me because one time T.R. Sullivan and I were at a bar in spring training, and Toby Hall, was that the catcher?
Yes.
And Salsa Lamacchia were at the bar. And they're like, oh well, they just said, well, we're going to pick up their tab.
Was this Booties or?
It was not Booties.
Okay.
Well, it turned out that T.R. and I had been there a while.
Yeah.
And we had done some damage to the bar tab, and it was $100.
Which was a lot back then.
Well, I mean, it was like 2010 or
Yeah.
whatever. But anyway, so he nicknamed me Cinquenta.
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 No.
No, Hundo.
Hundo, that's right.
Hundo. It was
right.
Hundo.
And then that next year, I stopped eating like a
Yeah, you
pig.
lost a lot of weight.
I lost 50
lot of weight.
pounds, and so then he called me Cinquenta.
Mm-hmm.
So
Half
those are
the
my
man
two
he
nicknames.
used to be.
That's right.
Half the man. I'm working there. I'm starting. I've got to. I'll tell you what. Okay. Favorite home cooked meal. Who cooks it? Mom, wife, whatever. What's your favorite?
Wow. Man. It'd have to be a tie, right? I
Sure.
got to be some kind of politically correct here.
Right.
I'd say back when I was a kid, how's that?
That's
Okay.
good.
Mom.
Mom,
Well, what-
what's your name?
Favorite home cooked meal? Probably fried chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Made real good fried chicken.
You can't get anything better than good. My mother made some great
Yeah.
homemade fried chicken. Better than anything you buy at the store.
And we have from my father's side in the family, a recipe that gets handed down is a applesauce cake.
Really?
And applesauce cake it's phenomenal.
Apples.
Now, what about your wife? Does she make something you love? It's like what does she make?
Oh, yeah.
Your favorite thing she makes?
Favorite thing she makes? I like her appetizers.
Oh, she'll put together?
She makes this brie type dip, or you cut it with. You start off kind of scooping it, and then you end up like cutting it. After it cools off. But little cranberry sauce and brie together. Man,
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about you? Does Jennifer make something good you
She's
like?
an unbelievable cook. She could run a restaurant. She
I never even asked you this in all this time.
She makes
we've done.
great grilled pizza. I think that's her favorite. That's my favorite thing that she cooks. But she can whip up a steak, knock your damn socks off.
Steak's my thing. That's what I love.
Everything she makes is delicious.
Yeah.
And like when we met, she was a horseshit cook, and didn't cook anything.
Right.
I was the cook in the family, and I'm pretty bad. And then she just like all she wants for Christmas is cooking stuff, and
That's awesome.
she's phenomenal.
Well, Kathy was never really a cook. Kathy can cook, but she got to have the recipe. Put a recipe in front of not my wife. Put a recipe in front of her, she can do it. She can't do like my mother, who could take anything that was in the pantry and make a meal out of it.
Yeah, Jenny can do that.
My wife can't do that. But my wife, you get a recipe in front of her, it'll look like it did on the picture and all of that because she's OCD. It's got to look like that. All right, let's go to the last thing. Now, this will be a fun one. Some of your players had some fun ones on this. We're going to get you out of here after this. It's what's something that nobody knows about you. Let me give you one guy you talked about. You'll love this is Brock Burke. I don't know if you knew this about him or not. He's a sleepwalker.
Really?
Yes, and there was a whole story written about it. I was the one that discovered it when he was in AA. I asked about it, and I asked him this question. He told me about it like bloodied his shins, gets up in the middle of the night and doesn't remember. Talked to some of the guys he roomed with in the minor leagues. It was hysterical. They said he warned them about it. He would get up in the middle of the night and start having fights with his pillow and then go in the corner and then yell something and then go, I got to pee. And he'd go take it. And they'd wake up in the toilet paper. I mean, it was crazy stuff. Lighter, cannot stand peanut butter.
Yeah.
That's just weird to me. But what is something nobody knows about Mike Maddux?
Such an open book.
Wow. Apparently it's pretty boring.
That's okay.
I'm not big on heights.
Oh.
Me neither.
Not big on heights.
But I was. Were you when you were younger? Were you okay better then, or like I grew into where I'm deathly afraid of heights now.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. When I was a kid, we climbed trees and get up on the roof of the house and all that stuff. But as I've gotten older, here's one: Miller Park. The guys wanted to go up into the roof of Miller Park, and if you look up there at them catwalks, Miller Park's got that half shell,
right?
Yeah. And there's no stairs. It's just a metal catwalk, circular. So the guy said, "Yeah, let's go up there." I said, "Yeah, let's do it." So we go up there, we take the steps, and now we're like scaling, just up this catwalk. And one of the guys go, "Man, look how high we are!" And I look, and I froze. And we had only gone about, 90 feet.
Okay.
On the catwalk. So we're on the incline. I mean,
you're still going
You're
up.
not even in the middle yet. You're not.
No, not even close to it. But that 80 foot coming down was like the longest walk I've ever had to take.
Oh my gosh.
It makes me sick that way now. That way, you look at even at the new Globe Life Field has those catwalks up there too, and you'll see some people get up there. Hey, go up there. I'm like, there ain't no way you're getting me to walk across that thing.
It's so high. I mean, you can't have the ball hit the roof. So those things are.
Yeah, they're up there.
It's too much. Well, I grew up in Colorado, so I guess you're not afraid of heights, but. there's some times we're driving some passes and you look over the edge. You're like, well.
Anything else you got for him before we let him go?
No, just
he's got to go hit golf balls. Well, no, you're going to the stadium.
Yeah, I gotta go to work today.
Yeah, I got to go talk to that new guy on your team.
Yeah,
the new guy.
No, but
we didn't talk about Haney. You got another one coming too. You're gonna have to meet with this one too. Mm-hmm. But
glad you're back with the organization.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's good to had some good times with you on the road.
More to come.
Good time to you since. Who do you like college basketball so far this year? Have you watched much?
You know what? I was watching the Horns play the other day.
Yeah.
Longhorns. They look pretty good.
Yeah.
I was watching, of course, we've seen a lot of Michigan State already this year.
Right.
And Tom Izzo doing his thing. Front loads he's scheduled so it shows the guys that they're vulnerable and have to get better.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that makes them always scary come March. But, I kind of bet on the coaches right now because I have not seen a whole lot. I did watch Illinois make a nice little comeback the other day against Texas nonetheless. But they looked pretty good in that game. And that was, they went into OT. Mm-hmm. But I thought both those teams looked pretty good.
We'll have to go catch the Frogs.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing the Frogs.
Frogs are good. They really are. They've got they can't stay healthy right now, but when they're healthy, they're deep. They got a good little team.
Jimmy Dixon always seems to push a right button here and there, or should I say here all the time. He's been got a great track record, good coach, winning coach. So always got to root for the Frogs and Jamie.
Yeah.
My son-in-law, his cousin is Drew Timme, the one that plays for Gonzaga, and and Gonzaga's always pretty good. So I've watched some of them just because he's from Richardson, where we all live. Pretty good kid, but
he's on like his 9th year of eligibility.
Yeah, he found out his NIL deal was so big. He was like, he wasn't going to be a first round pick. He's probably going to end up in Europe, I think, is what they think. But he's like, I make more money coming back and hanging around Gonzaga, which is, I believe that's in Washington.
Yeah, Spokane.
Up in Spokane or something.
Man, you talk about a guy who's built a program. Yeah, I want my kid, I'm going to go to Gonzaga and build a dynasty.
Yeah.
Right.
Really? Sure. What are you smoking? You've done it.
Yeah. He has.
They've been great.
There was talk that Gonzaga might join the Big 12 basketball only. That's been a rumor that's been out there a couple times. So
Big 12's got good basketball.
Well, and then next year, Houston, Cincinnati come in. It's going to be
good.
I mean, it's already a good conference.
All right, is that it?
That's it.
That's it, guys. Hey, Mike, thanks so much for coming in here with